Hello and welcome to this latest edition of Bulls on Parade Talk. I am your host, Joshua Sines, and today, I'm sure some of you are already aware, but for those that are not, figured I'd give you guys some info on this. The 2014 opponents for the Houston Texans has just been revealed, and I figured I'd share them with the rest of you guys. So, um, looking at what I see here in front of me, and I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna use the website that I pulled up, and I'll leave the link to the site in the description. And this guy, not only, not only, told everyone the schedule, but has his feelings, and I share similar sentiments. And like I said, the link will be in the description below for you all to read it. So here we go. Let's see here. So in the upcoming 2014 season, here are the opponents for the Houston Texans, and I'm gonna go, and they're not in any order. These are just, but they are separated by home and away. So at home, I'm gonna start with at home. At home, of course, the Colts, Jaguars, and Titans, AFC South. AFC South opponents. We gotta play them. We gotta play them twice. Okay, aside from our AFC South opponents, we got the Baltimore Ravens, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Buffalo Bills, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Washington Redskins. Okay, so that's our home. Those are our home opponents. Now, here's our away opponents. Of course, our AFC South, our three AFC South opponents, and our other away opponents are the Cleveland Browns, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Oakland Raiders, the Dallas Cowboys, and the New York Giants. So that's our overall schedule. Not in any particular order right now, not yet. That'll all come later. And so basically, if you notice, the first thing that jumps out at you, no AFC division leaders. No AFC division leaders. Like we don't have to play them like we did last season. It's because we didn't win the AFC South. It's the way that the schedule was created. So, um, looking at these opponents and schedule, and of course, then I did some more research on this. The schedule is ranked 30th in terms of strength of schedule. We have the third weakest schedule. There are only two. There are only two other teams that have a weaker schedule than we do. That's right. So anyway, so basically, if I'm looking at these opponents and I'm thinking to myself, this is we just might end up back with a winning season. And I'll explain. Not a lot really worries me about this. As soon as here we go. So as soon as so let me go back and take a look at this. So, of course, we're gonna have to play we're gonna have to play our AFC South opponents. I'll get to those guys in a bit. But the one thing I noticed, there are only 3 opponents on this schedule that made the playoffs. The Eagles, the Bengals, and the Indianapolis Colts. Those are the only 3 playoff teams on this schedule. So it gives you a little taste of what to look forward to. So I'm looking at the rest of these opponents, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, the Baltimore Ravens, they struggled this past season, of course. Joe Flacco was sacked too much, no running game, and barely any defense. So I think Joe Flacco will bounce back. I think Ray Rice will bounce back. I think they'll be better. Now, the one wild card in with the Baltimore Ravens is Gary Kubiak, who's now been hired as the offensive coordinator. So we'll see how he does in this new position. So let's see. And the Washington Redskins, they were just a mess last year. RG3 was not ready at all to play. But now with Mike Shanahan out of the way, as well as his son, they're both gone. Now Jay Gruden is in the picture. Kirk Cousins wants to start. He's probably going to ask for a trade, more than likely. He wants to start for an NFL team, and I'm sure someone will want to give him a look. So I think they'll be better. I think Alfred Morris is still Alfred Morris. They still got pretty decent talent offensively around RG3. They can fix that defense though. They can fix that defense. They'll be a force in the NFC East. So we'll see. The only two that are really, I believe, going to give us some kind of problems is either the Colts or the Eagles. The Eagles, they figure things out. They figured things out, in the second half of the season, especially with Nick Foles, having a heck of a season. So, and offensively they went off. And then defensively, later on in the season they stepped up and made big plays down the stretch, and they got him a win over the Cowboys in the last regular game of the season, and then ultimately couldn't beat the New Orleans Saints. But hey, it happens. So moving on, the Colts. The Colts are the other team that could definitely give us problems. At home, too. Andrew Luck has been very successful in his young career against the Houston Texans. I think he's only lost to, I think he hasn't lost in Lucas Oil when they played Houston. Same way it was before with Peyton Manning. So those two are the ones that I would really, keep my eyes on. So the other teams that we have to. So as far as looking at the rest of these guys, the Buffalo Bills, the Tennessee Titans, the Redskins, and the Jaguars, we're going to be better talent-wise than all these teams. I'm not worried about these guys. Same with the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals have not defeated us at all under Andy Dalton. I think we got. I think that's a win. I think that's a win. So we should be able to win. So I'm saying somewhere around 6 or 7 wins at home. Like I said, the Colts and the Eagles. I would not be surprised if we went like 6-2 at home, which is fine. But this is going to be the first time that we see Chip Kelly's offense, and we struggle against Andrew Luck. So I would say maybe 6 or 7 wins at home, which is perfectly fine. So that's how I feel about the games at home, as does this guy. Now I look at the away schedule. The Steelers, we're gonna have to deal with that home crowd. The Steelers stadium is just loud. With the terrible towel and all that stuff. So I think the Browns are a win. The Jaguars are a win. The Titans, we'll see. The Raiders, absolutely. So I think those are wins. Let's see. Cowboys, Giants, Steelers, and Colts. I think, let's see. We struggle in Lucas Oil Stadium. We have not won a game in Lucas Oil Stadium, but uh, I will be very surprised if we end up winning in Lucas Oil this year. I can't see it happening. I'll be very surprised though. Let's see. The New York Giants, they're kind of a wild card because you never know when Eli Manning's either going to be elite or whether he's going to be throwing interceptions. He's inconsistent. Now the Cowboys, don't even get me started on the Cowboys. They're just They're just mediocrity. They're the definition of mediocrity. So I don't expect. It's going to be tough. Don't get me wrong. The Cowboys are very talented. Now whether that translates into a win, that's yet to be seen. And I'm very curious for that. And I'm very curious to see what happens against the Cowboys. So, that's a maybe. I'm saying maybe with that one. The Giants, I don't know. Steelers, it's going to be tough, but I think we can pull it off. Colts, maybe. So, if anything, I say best case scenario, I'd say we win 2 out of those 4. So, and it'd be great if we beat the Cowboys. It would be absolutely fantastic. So, overall, I can see us going like maybe somewhere between 10-6 or 12-4. 10-6, 11-5, 12-4. Somewhere in there. And I think with that kind of record we can get back into the playoffs. And who knows? And also, just something I thought I would enlighten you guys on. I just realized something. I'm going back about 3 years. Remember when the Indianapolis Colts were 2-14? What record? What was their record the following year? 11-5. The Kansas City Chiefs 2 years ago were 2-14. What was their record the next season? 11-5. What was the Houston Texans regular season record this season? 2-14. Now, what do the Colts and the Chiefs have in common? New quarterback, new coach. And they started rebuilding. New philosophy, new coaching staff, talented all over the place. They built around the new quarterback that they brought in. In Indy's case, they decided to draft Andrew Luck number 1 overall, which is exactly what everyone expected, including myself. The Kansas City Chiefs with Andy Reid decided to go after Alex Smith. So they got him as their quarterback. And, as the season went on, they started getting more comfortable, and Alex Smith and the Kansas City Chiefs ended up 11-5, second in the AFC West, got a wild card spot. All I'm saying is, so basically, and not only that, not only did they and not only did they have a quarterback and a coach, but I also mentioned that they had a very good draft. They built a good team. So, for the Texans, it's not just coaching is one thing. Having the coaches and having the philosophy, but it's also important to have the right players. So in other words, this draft, if Bill, because Bob McNair says that this team is ready to win now, and I believe him. But in order to do that, this draft this upcoming draft is very, very crucial. It's going to go a long way into how we look moving forward. Not just next year, but moving ahead. You know, because Indianapolis has their quarterback for the next 20 years. Andrew Luck's going to be a good quarterback, a good to great quarterback for the next 20 years. You know, the Chiefs got a savvy veteran, Alex Smith, who has seen adversity for the first few years of his career. Now he's an Alex Smith now Alex Smith is coached by Andy Reid, a very smart offensive guy. So basically, this is a very important draft, a very important off-season more for the Texans. So basically, we're going to have to, I'm going to be here, we're going to have to see how the Texans address the quarterback issue. That's the thing. We have to see how they address the quarterback issue and, you know, how they free up some cap space to either bring in other pieces, bring in other players from free agency, which starts March 11th, by the way. So there is hope. There is hope. So if Kansas City and Indy could do it, why can't the Texans? I think it's possible. Matter of fact, in the NFL, I'm a believer of this. Anything is possible. So I say either 10-6 to 12-4, which is fine. You know, get us back into the playoffs, potentially win the division again. You know, get us maybe a top seed in maybe the 3rd or 4th seed. Who knows? Because you know Denver's going to win their division. Patriots are more than likely going to win their division. AFC North, I guess the Bengals are going to win, unless Baltimore gets better instantly after this past season. So we'll see. Maybe we can get like the 3rd or 4th spot, depending on how the other teams do. You know, so there's nowhere to look but up. That's my take on this. You know, this offseason is very important. It's very crucial for the Houston Texans and how we're going to move ahead with this. So we'll see. I believe it can be turned around. So that is exactly what I believe is going to happen. So that's basically what we have to look ahead for 2014. And if we can get the right pieces in place, and if our players can buy into it, who knows? Who knows? A lot to look forward to. So that's pretty much what I think. And let's see here, running on 18. So that just about wraps things up here on this edition of Bulls on Parade Talk. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. I'd very much appreciate it. And in the comments section below, what do you guys think about the strength of schedule? How many wins do you think the Texans are going to have? Do you predict the same way I do? 10, 11, 12? Do you think we'll be in the playoffs? What seed do you think we'll get? Or do you think we won't make the playoffs? Whatever you feel, however you feel about this, considering the schedule, tell me in the comments section. Tell me what you guys think about what might our record look like. And finally, please hit that subscribe button below for more Houston Texans videos. I'll be here all year covering all the latest in Houston Texans news, reports, ideas, discussions, rumors, whatever comes my way. This is Joshua Signs, signing off.